Differences between Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle have just been exposed in glorious detail. As Meghan herring these two videos, there is a huge difference between a woman who is genuinely interested and compassionate towards others, and then there's a fraud who is only interested in monetizing the pain and the grief of others. So often when you juxtapose side by side, Meghan Markle, one of them is an asset to the world and the other is a grifter, becomes abundantly clear. And it's in all aspects of life, even fashion, where hands posted. Princess Catherine has once again worn a perfectly tailored, gorgeous-looking beige suit to her visit to the University of East London. Meghan Markle's suit, to Time 100, was ill-fitted. In a major new essay by Queen Esther, arguing that it's because of grace under fire, which is why Catherine is the future queen the world really needs. Let me take you through it before we get analysis from royal YouTube sensation P. Diner. Queen Esther argues there's a reason Catherine, Princess of Wales, continues to command public respect, even during the most difficult periods of her life. And it has very little to do with titles, photographs, or palace PR. It's the way she carries herself when the spotlight becomes unbearable. Over the past year, while dealing privately with cancer treatment and recovery, Catherine found herself at the center of relentless speculation, conspiracy theories, and online cruelty. Every disappearance from public view became a headline. Every silence was treated as suspicious. Social media dissected her marriage, her health, her appearance, even her whereabouts, with a level of entitlement that at times became genuinely disturbing. And yet through it all, she still refused to turn herself into a victim. That is what makes Catherine different from so many modern public figures. She never rushed to share her diagnosis. She and William clearly wanted to handle it privately as a family first, especially for the sake of their young children. But the frenzy of speculation and conspiracy theories eventually left her with little choice but to speak publicly. She eventually addressed the speculation in a short, calm video revealing her cancer diagnosis. No tears for the camera, no dramatic victim narrative, just quiet honesty. It had come as a huge shock. They had been processing it privately, and she was grateful to her medical team. Then in true Catherine fashion, she turned her focus outward. You are not alone. Even later, when discussing her recovery, she focused more on encouraging others facing cancer than turning herself into the center of the story. No warrior branding, no demand for the world to revolve around her pain, just honest perspective and quiet empathy. This isn't new behavior for her. For over 20 years, she has faced intense scrutiny. Paparazzi camped outside her flat long before she married William. Topless photos published without consent in 2012. Phone hacking. Endless commentary about her weight, her clothes, her expressions, her family. Through all of it, she has responded with the same steady grace. Even when the edited photo controversy exploded, she simply apologized and moved on. No lengthy excuses, no blaming staff, no public meltdown. Just ownership. That quiet dignity is why she feels so perfectly suited to become queen. The monarchy doesn't need louder personalities competing for attention every day. It needs someone who understands that real leadership is often understated. Someone who can remain steady even when the pressure becomes deeply personal. The attacks will probably continue because social media thrives on outrage, conspiracy, and division. But maybe that's also why so many people connect with Catherine. Not because she demands sympathy, but because even in the middle of something frightening and deeply personal, she still carried herself with restraint, empathy, and grace. And maybe that's why her approach resonates so powerfully. In a world that rewards turning pain into performance, Catherine does the opposite. She protects her family, stays composed, and carries on with grace. That's what makes the contrast with Meghan Markle so striking. Meghan has repeatedly leaned into self-serving victim narratives, public grievances, and a desperate need for media attention. Catherine, despite years of intense scrutiny and a deeply personal health crisis, has refused to do the same, choosing privacy, dignity, and quiet strength instead of sympathy. For many people, that rare, hard-earned grace under fire is exactly what makes Catherine feel every bit the future queen. And P. Diner, I wonder if you feel that as Meghan tries harder, actually, as we can see in those contrasting imagery, Catherine actually comes out stronger because she's not trying to be anything other than someone who is there for the public, her subjects.
hmm Yeah, she definitely shows herself to be strong, and her appearance just comes off very glowingly because she has this authentic grace about her that just shines through. And that's what we see. And because Megan is the complete opposite of that, this is why she comes out looking a hot mess. Okay. I mean, where are the people telling Megan, look, girl, your clothes are wrinkled. Those pants don't fit on you right. This woman doesn't have the right people around her, and even if she did, she wouldn't listen to them. And Catherine has the right people around her, and she listens. So this is why she's always going to come off much better than Megan, because it's someone who is trying to get by with, looking a certain way and misses every single time. And Catherine is just really truly there for the people. And when you see her, she always looks impeccable. So yeah, Megan is always going to be on the short end of anything that Catherine does, because Catherine is the real deal. And this is why we see her the way we do. And Megan is just not that. She never will be. Just look at how she left the royal family to show you the kind of woman she is, what she did to the late queen. This is a woman who has missed the mark. She will continue to miss the mark. She'll never get above it, ever. And we'll continue watching her fail time and time again, because that's her character. That's who she is. She needs to have her reckoning, her coming to Jesus moment to ever get better. And until that happens, Just keep doing what you're doing. It's not going anywhere. You're just a failure in everything that you do.
Isn't it so interesting, P. Dinah, though, when you compare to how they react so differently when the times are tough, when the criticism is high? And the irony with all of this is that it's Meghan Markle who has always claimed, oh, she doesn't read anything. She's not looking at the newspapers. She's not looking at social media. Now, we know that's baloney, right? Because she so immediately hits back. And we've seen that in recent weeks, haven't we? Every story, immediately she has to respond. You know, oh, Nicole Avant hates me, so immediately there has to be a whole new article about everyone who doesn't hate me. Everything is so reactive. And the thing about royalty sometimes is that you almost have to float and rise above it.
Absolutely. And it's a winning strategy, especially with someone like Megan, because whenever she opens her mouth or tries to, say, oh, this is not true, or to come out and show, an illusion that she has in her head, it misses the mark every single time. Because Megan is just not a woman of character. She has this, she doesn't have what it takes to really win the people's favor, because she's always got this underhanded, conniving behavior behind her that is so ugly that it's always going to show itself to not be authentic and real, because she's plotting everything. And that's not being a real person, And Catherine is just someone that is thinking about other people. She's caring and wants to give good back to the world because of all the good that has come to her. And you can see she does it in a way that is real and authentic. I mean, there's just something about people that we can see behind the eyes, and the camera picks up on it. And we can see, when we see Catherine, we see a woman who is genuine. She wants the best for her family, her children, and even the public, the people that she goes out and speaks with. And Megan is not that. Look at how Megan does things to people that are in her own, circle of family and friends, So yeah, I think Megan has already shown who she is. It's too late to try to make a different kind of public perception, persona about yourself. It's horrible what Megan has done. And I just feel really sad for the monarchy at times, because I know that's what Megan has in her sights, to do things to people like Catherine, the things that came out in that book, about calling them racist. Like, she takes the most egregious thing you can say about a person, and it has it put in a book, because I believe that's what she did with that Omid guy. Okay. So it's just so tragic and sad. But, Harry's going to one that's going to, like I said, pay the price for it at the end of the day. But they do need to continue to rise above it, the monarchy, and just try to continue making the people their focus, because Meghan is going to always try to find something to do.
Well, yes, and we've got an example of that, P. Dinah, because do you remember a couple of weeks ago on SNL, Saturday Night Live, not the UK version, but the American version, there was the most brutal dig yet to Meghan Markle. I told you, inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet. Yep, it's true. And it's not some weird, trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits, but if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge, right? You can tell that by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store, and you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. Many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. When Dr. Gundry came to that realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful, it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and which one isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. The video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken, or by clicking the link in the description box below. That's getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules have helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken, or click on the link in the description box below this video.
Visited the U.S. to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain, and to seek the release of a British hostage being held by an American terrorist.
Now, P. Dinah, right? Very funny. And if thin-skinned human being, you think, oh, it's funny. I mentioned on Saturday Night Live, I'm still part of the cultural conversation. Like, moan to someone about it maybe, but do nothing, say nothing. Do you think that's how Meghan Markle reacted? Well, not according to Rob Shooter, who has revealed that she is now boycotting NBC altogether as a result. And she cares about NBC a lot, because I remember when she was in the British Royal Family, she cared about the Today Show so much. And she would time a lot of her press releases to go out sort of lunchtime UK time, because she cared more about getting on the Today Show in America. But anyway, here's the reporting from Rob Shooter. Meghan Markle has a long memory and satire. And it's like, oh, please, please. And also, like, imagine if this is where Meghan isn't smart, okay? It's where she's not strategic, P. Dinah, because if she actually knew how Saturday Night Live operates, and look, I'm no fan, because it doesn't really fit my politics, right? So they tend to treat, liberals, lefties, far, far better. But the reality is, if American politicians or high-profile figures treated Saturday Night Live in that way, then they would never have appeared over the years on Meet the Press or the Today Show. You know, Saturday Night Live operates as its own fiefdom. Like, no one is telling Lorne Michaels, oh, you can make this joke about this person, you can't make this joke about this person. So for Meghan Markle to blame all of the NBC network for a joke on Saturday Night Live shows how stupid she is, in my view.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they are just the platform that does things like this. It's certainly not a representation of the rest of the network. So, that just shows you how, out of touch Megan is, with everything. And at the same time, hey, why not try to use it as a way to, hey, you're out in the media, people are at least talking about you, right? I mean, she could use it for, herself to get, more popularity, I think, or not even popularity, but just to use it as a way to make fun of herself, to get people to see, oh, she's warming to what people are saying about her, make it a joke, be lighthearted about it. But, Megan just can't do things in a way that is reverse, like she can't try to play into it to help herself. She immediately gets mad. She's insulted. She's like, oh, I'm boycotting you, and that's just her behavior, her mindset, right? She's always a victim. That's what she is. And that's how, she sees herself all the time. And that's why people don't really take liking to Megan, make fun of yourself like that, but she can't do it. And that's why she comes off so poorly, because she can't make fun of herself. She takes herself way too seriously, I think. And this is why she's always so upset about what people say and joke about her. This is Hollywood. This is comedy. You need to try to lighten up, get the stick out your butt.
Yes, exactly.
And play into it.
And do you think these shows really want her anymore, P. Dinah? Like, does the Today Show even really care about Meghan Markle in the I mean, I know they cover her, but in the sense that they're really coverteen and interviewed.
She's too real in the way that she acts, how she acts. She's so pretentious, and she doesn't really play into things to be lighthearted and to be fun and to kind of roll with the punches, so to speak. She's not that kind of person. She's too uptight. I mean, every show that I've heard her on behind the scenes has been a nightmare because of how she wants to be taken so seriously, and she wants what she wants. She has a higher perception of herself than people have of when they see her, and she's insulted by that, right? So she's way too serious, and I think people just are staying away from her because she only brings bad news. She always brings negative stories. And this is why if she were a little bit more lighthearted about it, she could turn the tables and make it fun. And then I think more people would welcome to have her, right? But because of how she acts and reacts to things, they want to stay as far away as possible from that because you just don't get it. You just don't get the program. You want to be adored on a fake level, like people have to look at you like you're so wonderful all the time. And then you warm to them. Oh, thank you for saying I'm so wonderful. I'm so lovely. And she wants to hear more and more and more, and you just can't take that kind of person seriously. It's like, Megan, get out from under yourself like that. We don't look at you like that, like the way you see yourself, but there are crazies that do see her like that, but that's on them. But most people, like these big head honchos, these networks, no, they're not feeding into that. There's too many people in Hollywood with big egos to allow someone like Meghan to come in with her pretentious attitude and to try to, work with that. They don't want to work with that. Okay.
But the big problem she's got too, P. Dinah, is if you look at the American broadcasting landscape, in the past, her major ally has been the CBS network. Now, that is the network which broadcast her Oprah Winfrey interview. It is also the network where Gayle King, her friend and someone who is still considered to be part of her circle, broadcasts on CBS mornings and is quite a major force at the network. But, P. Dinah, guess who isn't going to be there anymore? Stephen Colbert, who had been the late night ally of Harry and Meghan and was sort of viewed as the voice of the network, very anti-Trump, very much on the left. So for political reasons was pro Harry and Meghan. But the problem is, P. Dinah, he is not there anymore. The show is gone. The network has been sold to the Allisons, who is pro-Trump. The news side of it is now run by Barry Weiss of the Free Press, who you would not imagine is naturally a friend of Harry and Meghan Markle and their type of woke politics. I mean, she's pretty much considered anti-woke Barry Weiss. So again, to me, it makes it an even worse strategic decision that Meghan has decided to go against NBC, which is naturally woke, probably naturally their place, because I just don't think she's going to get all of the type of positive treatment from CBS that she may have received in the past with Colbert.
Yeah, I think when you're someone like Megan who has limited support, you better not try to, make yourself anti or going against establishments that you can use for your advantage. That's not good strategically for Megan to do that. She's not at that level. So I think saying that for her and boycotting NBC is anybody for that matter is not good for Megan because she needs all the positive support or media publicity, whatever that she can get because of the current position that she is in. So, but that's just her ego. That's what you would think Megan would do. Okay, I don't want to be associated with anything that they do. But you're completely cutting yourself out from other platforms that could help you. But that's not her mindset to think like that strategically. So that's just what, she gets, that's how she rolls. And that's why she is a failure. Megan just cannot seem to find a way to do things and that support and help her because it's all in her head. The ego is enormous on this woman. And you can tell by what this statement right here.
Indeed, P. Dinah. There's another publicity stunt coming, though. Meghan Markle wants to renew her vows. And it's all going to be about saying, we didn't get the wedding we wanted, you know, from the horrible British public, the horrible British royal family. So look, we're going to reveal what's no big tech backing or billionaires pulling my strings, but that does mean I need your support. So please hit subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notifications.